shows me winner is...
Hey guys, welcome to another episode. We're in Chicago right now in Rosemont, Illinois. This is going to be our second time to the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals. I'm just going to do a quick vlog of our weekend. Just want to kind of bring you guys up to date. Our build series of the Corvette / IMSA Monza will continue. A lot of other stuff we're doing in the garage as well. That will all continue. We're going to go back in time to bring you guys up to date. I just had to put some of that on pause for some personal reasons. But so I'm going to give you guys a current episode and show you inside. Today is the day before. Last night we brought the car in and just parked it inside, got it in the building. Today is setup day, so we'll get the car actually in the spot where it's supposed to be, and we'll just kind of bring you guys along. You have some sixth sense that you know when I'm filming, don't you? You immediately paused. Longest hallway ever. Everyone should know what movie these cars came from. Well, it's right there on the windshield. So cool. I've never actually seen them in person before. Wow. So there's a lot of cars covered up with car covers that I think are going to be reveals probably throughout the weekend. Last year they had 25 reveals because they skipped a year because of COVID. I don't know how many reveals they got this year, but judging by the car covers, it's a lot. So the first thing we're doing is walking back to where we parked the cars last night, and they did move our cars, but oh, not very far.
Yeah, they moved both cars.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, we're not real sure what section we're supposed to be in this year because we thought we were in the Malaise muscle car section. So they told us to park back here, and our papers said something about youth section, so I don't know if that means we're in Young Guns or not, but there's our car, there's Cale's car. Yeah, I guess we'll figure it out later. Well, so we figured a couple things out. We are not in the Malaise car section this year. We are actually in the Young Gun section. There's our Young Gun right there, cleaning the car, trying to get it cleaned up. It was filthy from last night. Cale's next to us. And then that Corvette over there is a former SCCA racer, road racer. Owned by a 24-year-old who still road races the thing. Pretty cool. Not sure who else is going to show up today, but this is our final resting spot. Now, this section is, I don't know if this actual spot is, but this is what they call the ballroom. It's the carpeted section. It's also where they have the award ceremonies later. Pretty cool that they put us actually in a pretty featured area. Well, I think that's about all we can do right now. We're not going to go crazy on trying to get Miles cleaned up because he's a daily. I mean, it's just going to show the battle scars and bug spots and tar and rock chips and other things that he's got on him from the thousands of miles we've driven him. But he looks good enough. Still proud of Nathaniel for building him and getting him into a prestigious event like this. Proud of Cale as well. It's really cool to see these two grow up together. Proud to see them parked next to each other as well. Anyway, I think we're going to finish up here and maybe just walk around a little bit, get something to eat, and we'll come back tomorrow. Well, we're back. Day one of MCACN. Found out last night that they moved our cars again, and here we are.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the exact same spot we were last year. I guess we'll get the hood open and set up in our display here. We've been here for half a day already, but it's been so stinking busy that we just haven't had time to talk to you yet. But we're finally getting a chance after getting some lunch to walk around and take a look at the cars, and we'll take you guys along. So this is the part of the show where we weren't sure if we were going to have to do this again this year, but we just found out maybe an hour ago that we are, and that is that there is a Young Guns panel again this year, and Nathaniel and Cale and our friend Christoph from last year, you'll see him here in a second, and other Young Guns, other under 25 car enthusiasts that have cars in the show here are going to be on stage for a panel where they ask questions, and I think they do it today and tomorrow both. So we're about to start that now.
So literally the future of car collecting, automotive racing. I've got 8 panelists here that have volunteered to share their stories with all of us. Let me begin by just saying a little bit about who I am. My name is John Cramen, probably best known as the lead TV commentator and analyst for MCACN. All right, we're going to start off with a fellow by the name of Krzysztof Kozlowski. He is a tender 13 years old, and Krzysztof, probably best known for racing junior dragsters, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to let him tell the story. Krzysztof, let's begin by telling us a little bit about your car interest, how it got started, and where that has brought to where you're at today.
So my car interest really got started from my dad, and he helped me. Like, I've been a car guy since, I don't know, probably 2, 3, and he helped me a ton, like getting started with my own 65 Barracuda, and helped me learn more about cars throughout the years, and his dad passed it down from him, so it's just a generational thing.
1972 Plymouth Duster, and it is here on display at MCACN. Tell us your story.
Well, started basically since day one. Came home from the hospital, my dad's 69 GTO. And then from there, just started doing Hot Wheels, got really involved with model cars. And then 3 years ago, as of this December, bought my Duster, like you were saying. And then been messing with that over the past few years. And now got some other projects. And yeah, like you mentioned, Duster is back over there in the corner.
What was it about the 72 Duster that appealed to you, and what have you done to it? In other words, engine, any updates, or is it in stock condition?
So when I got it, it was in a field in New Mexico, like I was saying, pretty much buried up to the rockers. I drug it out of there, towed it home, took Route 66 home. It was a pretty fun road trip, and then just kind of started on the metal work, did some of the simple stuff, rebuilt the Slint 6 in it, and it was my legitimate daily driver for about 1.5 years. And while I was daily driving it, I built up a LS and a 5-speed for it, saved up to do that swap, so fabbed up the mounts and became member to do that swap.
Wow.
Built a rear end for it, so it's all nice and new underneath and inside, but on the outside it's still got the Hemi orange patina look to it.
We're going to stay with the car builder family. We're going to stay with a teenager also. Nathaniel, you've got a 1980 Chevy Monza Spyder. I had asked you, I said, is it a 305? And you said no. It was originally a 4-cylinder car, but it's not a 4-cylinder anymore. Tell us what you've done in the engine compartment.
It's an LS1. With
LS1.
Turbo 350 behind it. Yeah, that's it for now.
The car is here on display also at MCACN, correct?
Yep.
All right, so tell us why a 1980 Monza Spyder? Why'd you pick that one?
It was either that or a minivan, to be honest.
Good choice, brother.
My dad's really into them. He's been collecting parts for him for about 35 years now. So about 5 years ago, he had bought one up here in Chicago. We lived down in Indiana. He dragged it home. He stripped it apart. He got all the parts he wanted off of it. He was about to scrap it, and then I kind of looked at it and was like, "Can I have it?" And he said yes, surprisingly. So I've just kind of slowly been working with the metal shell, putting it back piece by piece, doing everything to it. You know, I got to run it in for the first time probably around 3 years ago in 2019. Took it on power tour a couple times, down the drag week a couple times in it now, and just been having fun with it so far.
That is so cool. Great story. Thank you so much, man.
Man. Hey, it's for sale, Cale. Just noticed that.
White buckets are fancy.
Yeah. It's pretty nice, though. All right, this is the part of the episode where I walk around and actually show you a couple of the other Young Gun cars here. And I want to introduce you to a guy named Zach Klopek. Zach?
How you doing?
This is what year Corvette again?
1968 Corvette.
1968 Corvette. I'm going to have you do a little walk around of the car, just kind of show us what it's all about and a little bit of the history.
This is my 1968 Corvette. It's been a race car since 1972, and the last time it was raced by the second owner was 2010. And I picked it up about 4 years ago when I was 20, and spent like a year and a half going through the engine, transmission, brakes, exhaust, gauges, seats. So I think I'll put the headlights in.
Oh yeah, these headlights are awesome.
And the FIA, what they used at Le Mans back in the day.
Yeah, I love these. That's one of my favorite things with the car.
Yeah, so that was one of the last things I've done. Painted the top all black.
So you did the black as well. It had a black hood, but you actually did the black highlight all the way around, right?
Yeah. So that's just black with flat clear on top.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a cool highlight.
All new MSD when I got it, I put it in. I made a custom panel under the dash that you can't see.
Okay.
But,
You put a racing seat in it too,
Yeah.
I think you said too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
which I found
Because
that
you legitimately race this thing in what
Yes.
series again?
I do Midwest Council. I do high speed autocross.
Okay.
But I found that racing seat actually because the dream was, if you look this up, Don Yanko made 3. He was sponsored by DX Oil Company, and he made 3 Corvettes, a 67, a 68, and a 69. And I was going to copy his paint scheme at one point, but then I showed this car at World of Wheels in 2021, and I was talking to the son of the guy that actually owned this car before I did, and he was telling me all stories of when he was growing up. Like, I used to sit in the seat, I pretended I used to be racing as a kid, blah blah blah, and I was like, I can't paint and ruin this memory. So I was like, well, I would just rather keep as a time capsule.
Yeah, so for those at home, this is all original paint. Even the decals are still on there from 1972, 1973. The only thing you've changed is the paint across the hood or across the top of the car, but everything else is as you saw it, other than your dad's advertisement there, which is removable.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's as it was when that guy was a kid pretending to race the car with his dad.
All I did was just buff it constantly to bring the shine back, and then I just wax on, wax off, try to keep it looking good. Yeah.
So tell me about the motor over here. It's a small block, obviously.
Yeah, small block 350. has a 11.1 compression, like a 650 lift. It makes like 4 1/4, 450. I did like a dyno and made like 300 to the wheels.
Okay.
So I don't know. You go online, you do the math. Probably 400, 4 1/4.
Okay.
But it's the original engine the guy used. It's not the original engine to the car because this car was just a base model 327.
Okay, but it's the same one that he
But
raced
yeah,
with.
this is the same engine he raced in.
So that's cool. So you preserved that too.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was great to talk to you, Zach.
Thank you.
And thanks for showing everybody around your car. Awesome car. Thanks for preserving the history, and good luck to you in the future, man.
You too.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, I feel like I don't have to do any introductions to this guy. You guys already know who he is. If you've been following us long enough, you know who Cale Wachowski is here. Cale, you've been going to the show pretty much since MCACN started.
Yeah.
What, how many years ago now?
I don't know. Been like 7 or 8, maybe close to 9.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Sure.
Anyway, you only missed maybe 2 shows because you moved to California for a couple of years with your dad's job, and now you're back. And now, your car's in the show.
It is, yes.
Isn't that surreal?
It's pretty cool because right over there in this wall, actually, this red Camaro is. They used to have model car shows, and that's where it was all set up. And I actually, like Friday night before the show, would come here with my model cars and we'd set it up. So.
Oh, you used to set up your own model cars?
Yep.
I didn't know
These
that.
shows,
See,
yeah.
I'm learning something new as well. So that's cool. So you started over there with your model cars, and now you're just literally 100 feet away or 50 feet away with the real car, with the real deal. What a cool story. Well, for those that don't know you and don't know your car, can you do a quick little 2-minute walk around of the car, just kind of show everybody what it's about?
All right, well, I guess we'll start with the outside here, what it looks like from the outside. So it's an actual EV2, which is Red Hemi orange car.
Okay.
It's obviously got a kind of a unique patina to it. So someone had it, that's the original orange right there. Someone had it purple at one point, and now it's orange over the top again.
So that's the original orange. Somebody painted it purple, and then the other orange on top of it.
And someone painted
I always wonder why. I didn't realize that. That's why the hue is. That's why there's purple here.
Yep.
I always thought that was just primer.
No, so I always thought it was too, but then kind of looking back at this and talking, I actually got in contact with the previous owner, and he pointed that out to me. So
Wow.
I guess sitting for, I think we figured out it was somewhere between 15 to 20 years. Don't know exactly, but the Desert Sun will do that to it. And
Yeah.
it's a unique combo, but I think it looks pretty cool in the contrast.
And you and your dad picked this up where again?
Albuquerque, New Mexico. So
You cannonballed it all the way down there.
It was like within 58 hours or something from Chicago to Albuquerque and back. And on the way back, we took this on Route 66 on the trailer. So fun road trip just about 3 years ago. So.
Yeah, and you've come a long way in 3 years.
Yeah, on the outside it may just look like we added stickers and stuff, but yeah, it's a whole different car from what it was.
Yeah, well, you started out by replacing the entire floor panels.
Yes.
And every rusty part of this car has actually been grafted in with new metal. Sometimes you even patinaed in paint to cover where you had corrected it so that you preserve the patina of the car.
Yeah, so
which is a skill in of itself.
So metalwork wise, did the quarter on this side, did the floor, which obviously a big piece.
Yep.
Did the cowl on this, had to graft it in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you cut out this entire cowl right here.
Yeah, so I think someone had one of those stick-on scoop vents right there. So then when they popped it off, I think they pried it off. So that was all warped and stuff. So I just cut it out right here, grafted that on. Did that right before Power Tour this year, and then did a tail panel on it.
Yep.
And just some other small little corners and stuff. But yeah, now the car is 100% rust-free. It's just got the beat-up patina look on the outside.
I love that. Now, show everybody the best part of the car itself, the one that gets you in the most trouble.
Yeah, this might be the best or worst part, depending on who you talk to. But yeah, so we drove it around.
Bam.
The Slant 6 for about a year or so. Actually down with you guys at one time, but that didn't end up so well. So I've gone through 2 slants in this car.
Yeah.
And while I was driving it with that, saved up, built the LS on the side. So stock bottom end 5.3. I mean, it's got heads, cam, intake, pretty simple.
Yep.
Got a Terminator running it, and
it's got a sloppy stage 2 cam, right?
Yep. That is correct. Going through boom tubes on it. Then had to fabricate all the mounts and the K member and the trans tunnel for it all. So
Yeah, I want to point out the difficulty. I don't have any pictures of it here, obviously, but if you follow Cale online, I'll put his link down below here. The amount of fabrication you had to do to the K-frame of this thing just to fit the LS in here. Can't say anything about it, but somebody pretty well known has actually reached out to you to possibly LS swap another Duster that he owns because he noticed how you figured it out, and that's pretty cool. That's a testament to your fabrication skills and how well you built this car, so pretty proud of that. I don't know if he's ever going to do anything or not, but I guess maybe by the time this comes out, you guys will know as well as we do. Time will tell, yeah.
it was still cool.
Yeah, it's cool that he contacted you either way. So, what are your future plans for this car? Is it pretty well done at this point while you work on your next car?
I mean, it's pretty dialed kind of as is. We've done since got it up and running in this configuration in March. I calculated just about 7,000 miles between March and November.
Wow.
Of road trips and actual daily driving. And knock on wood, I guess, it hasn't given me any real issues just besides some like tuning stuff and dialing some things in. But the next step would be, so it's got a world-class T5. I would like to do a TKX in it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially something stronger if I want to add more power eventually. A cooler NA or a faster NA build would be nice, but I don't know. Boost noises also sound pretty good. So
Boost is always good.
Supercharger one would be cool. That way I can keep my boom tubes. But I don't know, maybe a turbo exhaust out of a boom tube would be neat too.
Turbo kind of messes up your exhaust.
Yeah. These are kind of notorious with the car, so it's pretty much since day one. It's kind of a big piece about it, and they look sick and they sound good, so you can't go wrong.
Right. Well, Cale, thanks for walking us around your car, man. It's kind of weird to interview you. We've known each other for so long now. We've been to your house, you've been to our house several times. We've been to, I don't know how many car events together now as well. So a lot, yeah. And now you've been on a panel with other young guns, with Nathaniel and some other new friends we've made here as well. So I just think it's great that Bob Ashton encourages the next generation like this and has a section that's, set aside just for guys that are building cool stuff. There was 8 people on stage, and we've only got 3 cars right here. But anyway, it's great. And Cale, we appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys.
All right.
Body welding, everything. And I know exactly how it is starting out. Can't afford stuff, limited budget and everything. So I created an award called the Future Fabricator Award that all 3 of you look like you have hands-on ability and you want to do this. So I made an award, handmade from lawnmower parts, a couple other parts and everything. So it's a nice size trophy. But with that comes an Eastwood 140 MIG welder, auto darkening helmet, a cart, and some welding gloves to start out with you guys welding. So if you don't have that here. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so one of you 3 are going to win it. So I want to look over and talk to you guys about the cars and everything. So all 3 of you guys are in contention to do it because it's a way. I know me starting out in the hobby, I didn't have a lot of money. And when I got the welder, it was like, man, game on. All the creativity came out. I could do stuff myself. I started looking at cars now that I didn't know I couldn't do this. I couldn't pay somebody to do it. Now I can do it because I got the welder and I'll learn. So with YouTube and all the other stuff out there, you guys know you can do it. You're obviously showing that you have the intention to do it and the skills to do it. So hopefully it helps you guys out. It's just not because if you look around the room, you see a lot of guys and you hear all the stories, and all of us are like, man, I had an ache over here and a mole over here, and you're like, okay, we need to get some young people in here. So, all 3 of you guys, nice to see you. Right, exactly. So, but all you guys have nice fabrication abilities. It shows by the work you have here. So hopefully, one of you guys go home with a nice welder and a nice trophy. And we'll be here next year with one of my creations that I'd like you guys to come back and see. One of the caveats, I know you said you didn't want to say it, but what I would like to do is I'd like to do this award every year for the new guys coming through. You'll see the award that I made for you guys. I'd like the next guy, whoever wins it, to make the award for the next guy who wins it.
Oh, that's cool.
Generation thing.
Yeah.
If you want to.
If you want to.
That's a great idea, yeah.
Buy the welder and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's it. So,
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I don't know if you guys could hear all of that. The audio in here is pretty rough in this noisy building. But those 2 wanted to encourage the next generation and have basically, they interviewed all 3 of these guys, Cale, Zach, and Nathaniel, asked them a ton of questions about their cars, what they've built, what they're going to build, and they want to particularly influence like the next fabricator. I guess that's what the award was, is they want to encourage, you know, future fabricators. So they're giving away a MIG welder, a welding helmet, and then they have a custom-made trophy that was made out of some cool spare parts in the garage. I don't know what they're made out of, but after the interview, they just interviewed all three of them just now. Tomorrow at the award ceremony, they're going to announce the winner. It's one of these three guys here. They're going to get the trophy. They're going to get a welder. They're going to get the helmet. It's already here, actually in the building. Bob Ashton just told us. So they're going to present it to him on the stage tomorrow. And then the cool thing is, they want to do this award every single year. So they're going to do this again next year. And the trophy that's made out of garage spare parts or whatever is going to be made by this year's winner. So you grab whatever broken cams and sprockets and whatever else you got in your garage, and you make the trophy for the next guy the following year. How cool is that? Anyway, it's a pretty amazing day so far. We got about a half hour before everything closes up here, and then we come back tomorrow for day 2.
That's cool. You have a 72 Duster.
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. Okay, so this award is presented to an outstanding participant that shows passion and enthusiasm for our hobby. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Are you really?
That is
That's just
amazing.
awesome.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. I
Yeah, that's very
appreciate it.
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, we should be doing this in front of the banner, but that's awesome. So
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
keep our hobby alive, because I'm really old and we need to
Future
keep charging on,
enthusiasts.
okay?
I'm trying.
All right.
Make sure you
Get a
bring
picture
these
with
to
the,
car
with the
shows.
3 of us in there, and then we'll get a picture of him by himself up here, okay?
Sure.
Love it.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
All right, now we'll back up and take him just by himself.
Yeah, that's fine.
That way, if you want to, when they
All right, I'm going to.
So, can you guys explain to me what this award was and maybe a little bit behind it, so I can explain to his dad later when he comes in?
Yeah, so basically the award is, it's given to somebody who really has a drive and has the know-how and ability to fix their own car, but loves to fabricate, loves to just go on the fly, and he was.
Well, that's
just,
definitely this guy.
Is like, you know, he was always good with people. He always had a way of making people laugh, but he always had a way of always being sure he was helping somebody out doing something, whether it was cars or here. And the biggest thing was, we all met working these car shows, so we all have a love for cars.
Yep.
And Matt went out doing exactly what he loved to do. I mean, so
this is what is the award called?
It's the Matt Duke Memorial Award.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so seriously, I'll let you get your shine star. I'll come back and see you again. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Couldn't go to a better guy.
Seriously, thank you.
Yeah,
I'll see you in a little bit. I'll walk over too. Awesome, appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you. Seriously.
All right, on to award number 2.
Oh boy.
You're going to be a celebrity eventually. So like I said, with your other award, it's really important to me personally that you carry the torch and that you're continuous. I didn't know until Gary just told me you drove your car from Ohio.
Yeah.
Where in Ohio do you live?
It's just right over the border. It's about an hour east. It's called Lima.
Oh yeah,
That's where I'm
I live
going
in
to school.
Michigan, so yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So again, thanks for
you
driving the
guys.
car, because I work for a museum that we believe cars should be driven, not just
That's what they're all
museums.
about, yeah.
So keep on doing it. Woo!
All right, we got it. Rising star.
So here's a section of the show that I really wanted to highlight, at least very quickly for the episode here, because it's the era that I grew up in. I call myself an 80s child, but when I was younger, I grew up in the, you know, 70s and all these Malaise era cars during the 1973 OPEC oil crisis, for those of you that remember that. And then emissions and bumper regulations and things that happened in the mid-70s, all the muscle cars just got anemic. And they just tried to create sticker packages or anything to make the cars kind of look faster than they were, which is kind of why I love the Monza Spyder and the Z28s of the day and all the other muscle cars, quote-unquote muscle cars. So let me walk you around the Malaise section and show you some of the stuff that's here. This is really cool. I'm glad that Bob included this section this year. Dodge Aspen Super Coupe, Plymouth Volare. Cars were not fast, but they sure looked like they were fast. Dodge Magnum GT. Believe it or not, this was a 1975 Roadrunner. Kind of looks like a glorified police car. These cars were cool. 10th anniversary special edition. I always loved these. I did a model of this as a kid. Always loved the Daytona 500 pace car that year as well. Again, not super fast cars. I mean, look at that sticker. That's the biggest screaming chicken sticker ever on a Firebird, I think, actually on record. This is the 1980 Dodge Murata / Magnum prototype car for that year before they actually went into production. That's pretty cool. I didn't know this car still existed. And come on, guys. How can I not love this car? I've actually been tracking this Oldsmobile Forenza. It's a Starfire Forenza. Forenza was just a model like the Monza Spyder. This is a V8 4-speed car as well, so it's already really rare. There were only 2,500 of these Forenzas made, but we don't know, we don't have the breakdown of like which ones were V6s and 4-cylinders and V8s. So the fact that this is a V8 4-speed Forenza makes this extremely rare. And the owner, Kurt, actually did a great job over the last couple months to do a darn near concours level restoration to it. He did a great job in the short amount of time that he had. I know I pointed out a couple things that were not technically factory correct, and he appreciated the fact that I knew that, because he says you're probably the only person here that probably knows that. So, so he may correct those things later. But either way, love that car. I don't know why, but I've always loved these model 74 GTOs. Granted, they're just a glorified Nova, but I just thought the Pontiac front end, of course, the shaker scoop through the hood was always one of my favorite things as well. You know, being a fan of the Monza Spyder means that I always love the other Malaise era muscle cars as well, and for some reason I've always loved these King Cobra cars, and this one is just a prime example. It's a 78, just like the Spyder that ours is, same year, day glow orange. This one is a V8, obviously, 5-liter. And then this car here, I've always loved this car. For one, I was always a Rick Mears fan. I grew up around Speedway, just outside of Indianapolis. And Rick Mears was my driver, and his debut was in 78, but in 79, his very second Indy 500, he won the race. And of course, I don't know if you guys know, but the winner of the race always gets the pace car. I loved this car so much when it first came out that I did a model of it, and as a practice car for 4-H, because I always entered models in the 4-H contest. And then I did a second car after the practice one that actually went into competition, and I won a purple ribbon for it. What that means, I don't really know, but you could get a white third, a red second, a blue first, but if you did really well, you got a purple ribbon, and I got a purple ribbon on this car. Unfortunately, that model has long since been destroyed, but yeah, I always love to see this car still around. Growing up around Indy, pace cars have always been my kind of thing. Actually, I've actually owned 2 pace cars myself. Never owned this one, but this is a 75 Buick Century that was the Indianapolis pace car that year. My buddy Michael Allen actually owns one of these cars. I forget how many of these were made. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, Michael, check it out, buddy. This one's pretty cool. I'll have to check out yours sometime. Here's another Dodge Charger. It's 1977. Obviously, this one is not stock. Look how clean it is underneath the car, by the way. As you walk around this thing, I got to show you under the hood here. This is amazing. Look at this. What the heck, man? That's pretty amazing. Never was a huge fan of these cars. I mean, considering the Charger name was attached to them, but you know, this is what the Malaise era was all about. Rebadging cars, trying to make them look cool. This guy definitely made this one cool. All right, normally this is like my favorite part of the show. If it weren't for the fact that the Malaise era section is here this year, it's kind of replaced that as my favorite part of the show. But it's the barn finds and rare gems section of the show. And he's got a stable full of cool cars this year. I'll just take you for a quick walk around. Z16 Chevelle. It's amazing they're still out there. 71 Torino GT. 71 Challenger RT. 66 Hurst Olds. Sorry if there's a lot of people in the way here, but 69 Super B. This is the car that Mopart's 5150 brought to the show here today. I was anxious to see this one. Owned by Troy. Very, very cool find. Look at this, Charger 500. They're still out there, folks. This one's pretty crusty, but it's a Charger 500 and still worth saving. All right, quickly through here. Challenger RT. 68 Chevrolet Chevelle 396. Barracuda convertible. Look at this, an A12 6-pack Dodge Super B. What the heck, man? It's amazing they're still out there. Check out the 68 Oldsmobile Hurst Olds. Another CUDA.
I love that.
And the engine. Shaker Scoop. Mustang 351. 72 Pontiac Grand Prix SSJ, the gold and black paint scheme with sunroof. Very cool find. W31 Cutlass, and then a big block Nova right here. Hey, I want to show you a familiar face from last year.
Hey guys.
Christoph. Christoph was here last year with his 65 Barracuda in the Young Gun section right next to us last year. We got to be good friends with you guys. It was great hanging out with you. He's back this year with another car. Check this out. Bam! He's here with his junior dragster. I was going to have you give like a quick 2-minute walk around of it and kind of explain it to us and tell me what you've been up to for the last year.
So for the last year, I've just been working a job at Dave Dudek Muscle Cars in Michigan and just building up cash funds for parts for my actual car, my Barracuda. And then my dad and I have been thrashing on this, trying to get this going. And we went racing twice this year, and both times we snapped the rear wheel hub. And so what we're going to switch
too powerful.
to, yeah. I mean, it's an 8-second motor and a 14-second car with 14-second parts.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So for those that don't know, for like the 2 people watching this that don't understand, explain the paint job.
So it's based off of the famous race team from the 60s and 70s, the Ram Chargers.
The Ram Chargers, exactly,
I'm an official licensed driver of the Ram Chargers. I'm the youngest
So you got
ever.
permission to do this then?
Yes,
Oh, that's
I did,
awesome.
by Mike Wagner.
Wow.
Yeah, he bought it from a judge in Taylor, Michigan, who owned the Ram Chargers. And now he owns it, and he's trying to bring it back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So their famous thing was Ram Chargers crest on the side with candy stripes up the middle.
Yep.
And we have some friends who own Godfather Racing, also famous Michigan racing team. So we got permission for that as well.
Very cool. So you're using this, I mean, you're doing some racing on the side, but you're also working. You're only, how old again?
13.
13 years old. You've already got a full-time job, raising funds to get your 65 Barracuda on the road, while also doing this. Dude, you're going to be a millionaire by the time you're 18, I think, right?
I hope so.
mean, yeah,
That's
you got the work ethic for it.
Yeah.
That's very awesome. Well, dude, it was really good to see you again.
For sure,
And, man, I can't wait to see what you come back with next year. I'm sure we'll see each other again next year.
For sure, yeah.
All right, it's a little bit after 3 o'clock. The award ceremony starts in about 25 minutes. And this is the part of the show where we find out who's going to win that award that Nathaniel, Cale, and the other young gun named Zach interviewed for yesterday. They did a quick little walk around of the car, explained what they did fabrication-wise to the car, what other projects they're currently working on, asked them a ton of questions. It took like a half an hour. And right there behind us, they're on that stage. They're going to make a presentation and announce the winner here in a little bit. Honestly, I don't really care who wins at this point. We're all winners for actually even being here. We're just such an honor to be invited to be at MCACN and for Bob and Bob Ashton and his son Ian to really encourage the next generation the way that they have. And for other sponsors like for these guys that were doing the welder giveaway to come on board to encourage the next generation as well. So they call it the Future Fabricators Award. I'll get the details of it later because at this point I don't remember their names and I don't remember all the details of it yet. But bring you up to date on that here in a little bit. Either way, it's about to start, and we'll take you along.
$1,200 worth of welding material. We call it the Future Fabricator Award. Is the award. In addition to that, keep in mind, this is not it's a MCACN thing, but we did not pay for this or fund it. It was totally his idea. A full welding set, welding helmet, gloves that he purchased from Eastwood. And he talked to our younger participants and he came up with 3 finalists. So those 3 gentlemen I'd like to bring up here. We have a gentleman who has a Monza Spyder. Are you in? Come on up here. We have a gentleman who has a Corvette race car. I believe it's 1968. And we have a gentleman who has a 1972 Plymouth Duster. If you 3 guys could come up. Now I'm going to let a younger person than me explain what's going on here. So Ian, why don't you come on up here? This is my son Ian. Please give this gentleman a hand.
Yeah!
So first of all, I'm not young, which is, he's like, you got to get this award out because you're young. I'm like, I'm 40, so.
Youngish.
So basically, I love this show, but I feel like I'm the minority in people in my demographic because most young guys are like, restored cars are lame or, whatever. And most of the cars here are so far out of the echelon of what I can afford or what young people can afford that it's unobtainium almost. So Dave, being a big Mopar guy, which we are too, is kind of always been like, how do we get more people in, more young guys involved, and how do we get them to the show? So a couple years ago we started, and my dad started really pressing me. So you might know we do Power Tour every year, and I think 2 years ago we stumbled across Nathaniel on Power Tour in the Spyder that he and his dad built, and it was like, I had not heard of you until then, and saw your Instagram and your YouTube, and I was like, this is awesome, we gotta get this guy at the show. Last year on Power Tour, we met Cale here, and I was like, we gotta get this guy at the show. And kind of an interesting thing, both of them had been to the show with their dads and stuff, and they're like, really? Us? And like, as spectator, and we're like, hell yeah, like, without you guys when you grow up or whatever, like, the show doesn't go on. So,
I do road racing with my 68 Corvette. It's all original from 1972, so just trying to keep the legacy alive and stuff like that. I'm 24.
I'm 18.
real quick, tell everybody what you're doing right now. If you tell them your channel, tell them what you're doing. Why?
Alrighty, so right now I got a 72 Plymouth Duster that's daily driver, fun car, taking on Power Tour all across the country, driven on the beach down in Florida over the summer. And then I found a 70 Charger in a field earlier this summer, picked that up from an older gentleman, and then I'm currently, it still somehow stayed in one piece. And dug it out of there, and since I'm out in school, I am building that out of a storage unit that I have to run a 100-foot extension cord to get power, and I have LED lights zip tied to the ceiling, so.
And your channel, they're yours.
Well, I'm 19. I got the Monza Spyder, like you said. I'm also doing another Monza right now. We got like 5 out of the house right now, but I got another one I'm doing where I took the body off out of a 92 Corvette and putting the Monza on top of the frame of that car. Doing a into Monza, if you know what that is. And yeah.
So, when Dave and Kelly were here yesterday, they had to fly out. Dave is actually a pilot, so he has a really tight schedule, so he came out, but he wanted to meet all of the contenders and to narrow it down to the top 3, and then he kind of did a quick interview process, and he chose the winner is, drum roll, please. So, you're going home with that. I know you have room in the Monza because I saw how you and your dad packed them. You know, I think we had the hoods on top and you had tires in the back thrown in a power tour. So again, I won't go on and on, but you see these guys, when you shake their hands, tell them thanks for being the future of the hobby and giving us all hope. And to Mr. Christoph over there and all of the young enthusiasts. Congratulations. Keep it alive.
Well, you guys saw it. Nathaniel won the Future Fabricators Award. We're still in a little bit of shock. Incredibly humbled, feel very blessed. He's coming home with a pretty cool trophy, a good Eastwood MIG welder, I think a welding helmet, some welding gloves. There might be one or two other things that came with it as well. We got to go back to the stage and pick it up here. But for now, Cale's got to go back to school. He's got to hit the road. He's got a 7-hour drive back to Ohio. So we're back at his car getting stuff packed up so he can safely get on the road and is not on the road too late tonight. And then we'll head back to stage, pick up the welder, say our goodbyes, and then this place is going to pack up and get out of here. That's it, everybody. MCACN 2022 is over. What an amazing experience. You can hear the cars firing up in the background. This is the parade that comes through here every year. Pretty soon there'll be a whole line of people lined up right here just to watch millions of dollars worth of cars headed out the door. Thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate you. We'll see you next year. I thought you were going to stop.